because he wanted to bring poor folk together, and they sitting there waving the flag. Martin says, I'm not a flag waver. First, I'm a cross bearer. I'm a Christian, which means every flag is under the cross. Every nation is under the cross. Every nation is under truth and justice. All people's under truth and justice. I'll wave the flag only when it conforms to my conception of truth and justice as I understand it in terms of that Jew who died on that cross, because I'm a Jesus-loving free black man, but I won't sell out. I won't give in. I won't give up. And I'm willing to pay the ultimate price. That's what Malcolm and Martin were willing to do. So was Stokely and so many others. But these days you ask young folk, what are you willing to die for? Chains around your neck, that's just a paraphernalia of suffering. Tell me something else. Who will die for you? Mama. Okay, that's beautiful. Mama loves so deeply. What about daddy? Yes, no. Can we find him? Yes, he's all right. Yes, no. Depends. We got some wonderful black men out there, but oh, we got some brothers unemployed, down and out, downtrodden. Who else? Tupac, no, he got shot. Biggie, no, he got shot too. Both of them lyrical geniuses, they got shot. They're not like Huey Newton, they're not like Fred Hampton. 44 years ago in Chicago this week, Fred Hampton killed by gangsters of the FBI. Killed.
Yes.
They admit it. He was willing to die. How many young folk have that depth of Socratic questioning and moral conviction? And keep in mind, you all, we're talking about love. We're talking about what Emmett Till's mother had in mind when she stepped to the lectern in August of 1955. And her only baby, who had been killed by cowardly American terrorists in gut bucket Jim Crow, Mississippi. And she kept that casket open, and everybody said, keep it closed. She kept it open. She wanted the world to see the underside of America. And when she stepped to that lectern and looked at all the cameras, 50,000 people had marched through Robert's Temple Church of God in Christ on the west side of Chicago. 50,000 folks. It was the first massive civil rights demonstration 3 months before the great Rosa Parks sat on a bus in order to stand up for justice. 3 months before. What do you have to say to the world, Miss Till? What she said spoke on behalf of not just black people, not just America, but the best of the human family. She said, I don't have a minute to hate. I will pursue justice for the rest of my life. And if I have to pay a price just like my baby, I'm willing to do it, because that's the kind of human being that I choose to be. And she spoke on behalf of a tradition of people who had shaped her and molded her. That was the deepest form of democratic paideia. And yes, she was a Christian too, but we Christians have no monopoly on it. Christian gangsters come a dime a dozen. Just like Islamic ones, just like secular ones, just like Judaic ones. The question is, what kind of choices we will make relative to the traditions that we choose to inhabit? And will we form organizations, mobilize? Will we be willing to engage in collective action? And let's just be very honest about it these days. It's got to go so far beyond voting. Far, far beyond voting. Because as Brother Martin used to say, we struggle so hard for the right to vote, and now we hardly have anybody to vote for.
That's right.
Legalized bribery, normalized corruption among too many politicians of both dominant parties. It's not to say both parties are equal, but to say one is better than the next is not saying too much when it comes to issues of wealth inequality, quality education, quality jobs, and most importantly, some check on the national security state and the national surveillance state. You all know about the National Defense Authorization Act, where we can detain American citizens now with no trial whatsoever. How many American citizens have been killed, murdered, assassinated? They said 4. We thought it was only 3. How many innocent children have been killed by U.S. drones? 226 and counting. U.S. government said what just a few years ago? None. President said just less than a few months ago, we have near precision in not killing civilians. We say, quit lying.
That's right.
Tell the truth. Edward Snowden discloses lies and crimes. He's demonized, stuck in Russia. Glenn Greenwald discloses the truth. His partner stopped in London. National security state surveillance keeps track of all phones. I know my phones are tapped. I turn on Curtis Mayfield every time I hear it click. Just turn on Curtis. Get a little musical education, get a little musical paideia here. That's what we're up against. And yet the younger generation needs to know that there's always ground for hope to the degree to which courage to think critically, courage to love, and courage to join organizing and mobilizing is not crushed systematically. It's not rendered fully inoperative. And if we reach that point, then we have a soft fascism or a hard fascism or an outright authoritarian state, the very thing that the great George Orwell warned us against, or Sinclair Lewis in his great novel, It Can't Happen Here, the novel about encroaching American fascism. And it may not come to your house yet, but if you keep track of the poor in Appalachia, the poor in our cities, and the intense surveillance, and the move from school to prison, that's already real. It's already actual. You say, well, Brother West, did you come all the way to Philadelphia to paint such a bleak story? I said, oh, nothing bleak about it at all. That's why I got a smile on my face. Because it means that we all, in being Socratic and prophetic, have to be blues people. And America has the blues right now. America as a blues nation doesn't learn something from a blues people, it will lose its precious experiment in democracy. And the blues ain't nothing but a personal chronicle of a catastrophe expressed lyrically. What do you mean, Brother West? Well, B.B. King says, nobody loves me but my mama, and she might be jiving too. That's the blues. That's catastrophic. Indecent school, catastrophic. Massive unemployment, catastrophic. U.S. drones on civilians anywhere in the world, catastrophic. 1% only 45% of wealth, catastrophic. But in the face of catastrophe, just like Emmett Till's mother, what do you get? Socratic questioning. What do you get? Prophetic compassion. What do you get? Example, action, praxis, life of service, and most importantly, a joy in serving others. That's different than fleeting pleasures with material toys. A joy in serving others. That's one reason why I had the faculty stand up. Because when they stood up, it was very clear. They don't teach at LaSalle, given the great history of this institution, for the cash. They teach because they find a joy in serving their students, in pushing their students. And that joy has become contagious, deeper than just pleasure, deeper than superficial things. It's the enduring things that last, so that when they put you in your coffin, it won't be just about the fleeting pleasures and things that you possess. It will be about your capacity to facilitate the enduring joys and thinking critically, serving others, trying to change the world, and always putting poor people and working people at the center of the lens through which you view things, or for Christians, viewing the world through the lens of the cross. Killed by the Roman Empire, cast as a criminal, a political prisoner and criminal, and yet the love oozing out of his body in the form of blood, sweat, and tears became so contagious that lo and behold, thousands of years later, that prophetic Christian witness is still, though weak, at work here at LaSalle and other places. Thank you all so very much. It was a great time.